What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host and captain, Garrett Morlang, and here in the studio with me is the Nerd Dad's Zech Keenan.
Hi, I'm happy to be back again. Round number, what is this, 4?
This
3?
is... It depends. I think for guest hosting, it's 3, but you've been on our show 4 times, right?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Yep.
I don't know. I never was good at math.
I can't count.
I can't count higher than 1, you know? It's really hard. But man, how's it been? How was your last couple weeks?
It's been pretty good. Went to, took the family on a little vacation to Monterey last week. It's pretty fun. I didn't do that. And then this last weekend, I helped my parents do some more moving. So we did more moving.
Fun.
I think they're just about done now.
Okay.
So...
Are they like moving like out of town, out of state, or like they stay in the area?
They're staying in town, but the home that they're bought isn't ready yet, so they have to move into like a tiny little apartment.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah. So most of the stuff is moving into storage.
Okay.
And,
just to move it again in a few weeks, maybe.
Yeah, a few months.
Okay.
Few months.
So you get a little bit of a break.
Yeah. I told him next time he's got to hire a mover.
Like, sorry, I'm done. Tapping out.
No mas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, cool. Did you now you went to Monterey, you better have gone to the aquarium there. That's like what, the best in the US or something? I forget it. They always say that,
yeah.
but
I don't know if it's best in the US, but it is really good.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was really pretty. So the kids had a blast. Just mostly the jellyfish. That was like the favorite part. And I haven't been there since I was like a little kid, so it was pretty cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we love it there. I think since we moved to California, we've gone, I don't know, at least 3 times.
Wow.
But yeah, we've gotten lucky. When we were out there one time on a vacation, and I got on like Craigslist and found some people who had guest passes, because normally it's expensive to go there.
Yeah.
But if you go on Craigslist, you can get rent people's passes essentially. So it was like $20 for my wife and I both, like for both of us to go. Because they're like, yeah, they pay for the family pack and they use it for their family, and they're like, oh, we might as well make a little money off the guest passes.
Wow.
So like we just paid like $20
so
and like went for the day, and then you just go back to their house and return it, and
it's cheating.
It was great. It was otherwise it's like $200 for
Watch
for
somebody
your family
from
to
the
go.
aquarium listens to this podcast and like, okay, we're gonna need to nut up on that one now. That's not happening anymore.
Yeah, well, but
that's cool.
no, yeah, the aquarium's awesome. I love it there. My wife loves it. My son, we took him for the first time. I think it was just a few months ago, actually, like last year sometime. And even at like, I don't even think he was 2 yet. He just loved it so much. Like staring at all the fish, jellyfish. They're so bright. Yeah. In the dark room. It's just like, wow, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. My kids were like jumping around from window to window.
Yeah.
That was like the favorite thing.
That's cool.
But yeah. I wish there was more sharks.
Yeah, they
just had like hammerhead sharks.
They just have that in that ginormous, like, what is it called? That big tank.
Sea bass? Like a giant sea bass?
No, well, it's that tank where it's just like the size of like
a that one really big shark.
They have like a couple hammerhead sharks in there.
Yeah.
And a couple reef sharks. But yeah, they don't have any like cool great whites or anything like that.
Yeah, like that's what I want. They have lame sissy sharks.
I want like the big dog shark. It's going to eat all the other fish.
I want Jaws. I want Jaws to be in there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool.
How are you?
Doing good. Yeah, it's been a busy week. I was talking to you a little bit earlier about it, but it's been like just chaos, like night after night after night, to the point where Saturday I was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to the gym today. I don't want to leave this house. We're just going to sit here and watch Netflix. And yeah, that's about it. And that's mostly what we did. Obviously, when you have a 2-year-old, you can't really do that.
Right. Not anymore.
So really that didn't happen until after he went to bed. So around 7:30, then I could just sit on the couch. But yeah, man, it was just an exhausting week. But I don't know. It's just, you have those seasons sometimes where, you know, sometimes weeks are great, and like right now, even this week is already starting to fill up. It's like, okay, here we go, another ride. Let's see if we can make it through.
Yep. Yeah, I hear you on that. That's what this one's going to be. I have a lot of stuff going on, but whatever.
Fun stuff.
Yeah,
that's life. The wise words of Frank Sinatra. That's life. Cool. Well, let's go on and get into some housekeeping here. So here's a big one. We talk each and every week about our Patreon to you guys. I let you know that you can go to patreon.com/supergamerboys. I'll tell you about our Patreon sponsors, who this week are Bill Bird and Julie Bates. But this week, I have some new news for you. We have updated our tiers. So previously, it was the same $1, $5, $10, $15. But the way the benefits, I guess you could say, or rewards were situated were it was a little top heavy. So you had to support us a little higher, and you got some cool stuff. But obviously, yeah, I mean, that's kind of for what we are and how small we are. I knew right off the bat it wasn't a great way to format that, but it took some time to rework it and figure out exactly what I wanted to do. So yeah, we officially kind of reconfigured those tiers. So now, starting at just like the $1 a month level, you can get our audio version of the episode ad-free. So without like the HP Video Game Podcast Network ads and any future ads that we start adding in.
The raw.
You'll get that completely cut out, just the raw audio, and early. So like tonight after we finished recording, you'll usually pop that export out and I'll upload it right away. So technically the night we record it, you could be listening to it.
Bam.
Then starting at the $5 tier, you can now, now I'm drawing a blank. $5 tier, you get the access to the show notes early. That used to be just a perk for the producer. Now anyone can get it, and my hope in that is that you support us at $5 a month. Not only do you get the audio early, but you get the show notes whenever I make them, which usually is a little earlier. Sorry, Zech. This time it was like Sunday afternoon or night or something. I'm like, hey, by the way, this is what we're talking about tomorrow. But as soon as that goes live on our Patreon, you should get an email. Hey, they posted something, and you can go there and look at exactly what we're going to talk about, and you can leave comments on there. So if you have a thought like, I have a question about this, or this is my opinion on this, leave a little comment on there, and that's just some more back and forth, some more cool stuff we can talk about on the show. You can be in the show, essentially. So
for $5 a month, you get to be on the show, kind of in spirit, with words.
In spirit, exactly. And then the $10 a month, you get the shout out. You get all the previous stuff plus, an actual shout out on the show, just like our other sponsors we just mentioned, Bill Bird, Julie Bates. And then at the producer tier, you get all the previous stuff I've already mentioned. And then also you get to basically have your own segment on the show. Like previously, if you remember our Losing Review segment, where we reviewed bad movies. Or we also did, our buddy Matt Lou also did a little D&D campaign for JJ, or kind of like a choose your own adventure, but it was like D&D themed.
That's cool.
It lasted a little bit. It was a pretty good chunk of time that we did that, but I still would like to know how that ends. We never got to the end, that's for sure. We got to kind of a climax potentially, and then then he stopped supporting us, and I haven't heard from him. So if you're listening to this, Matt, maybe email me that, because I would just love to know how it ended.
Come back, Matt. Come back.
But cool. So go check it out, please. That'd be super cool if you could even just take a look. And if you know someone else who likes our stuff, share our podcast with them, share our Patreon. And thank you so much for that, just for hearing me out. Alrighty, we are also part of the HP Video Game Podcast Network. If you can, please go listen to the other stuff. Those guys are awesome. Love those guys. And also, let's see, supergamerboys.com/Discord. We like to chit chat in there, and that's another thing with the Patreon. You support us on Patreon, you get cool titles on our Discord, so you can actually show off, hey, I'm a supporter of Patreon, by what color your name is and how you show up on our groupings and listings and stuff. So support us on Patreon, and you can look cool to all the people in our Discord. Win-win.
So cool.
And before we get into the nerdy nudes, I had a quick little voicemail here from a listener that I just wanted to play real quick. Let's see. Let's see if this works.
Hey, hi, this is JJ, a longtime co-host, first-time caller. I've got a couple of questions. I've been listening to the show. Zech is doing a really amazing job. Garrett, you as well. So Garrett, you're not returning any of my phone calls. So I'm just kind of concerned. Garrett, am I fired? All right, thanks, guys. I'll be listening to the show. Have a great day.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, so there was a voicemail from JJ. He is alive and well. He is not dead like we all, assumed.
I never thought that.
We, there is things happen. Stories get told by people and facts get misconstrued.
That's a pretty big misconception.
Sometimes errors are made, mistakes are made. That's just the way things go sometimes. JJ's not dead. He left that voicemail. He's been
From beyond the grave.
thoroughly enjoying
Just kidding.
Zech being a co-host, but he sent that in and wanted me to let you guys all know that the legend will be making his triumphant return next week.
Yes.
So prepare your bodies for that, because he will be back in full force, in full glory. He will come down on a cloud like Jesus. No,
I don't think any of this is true.
Is that too far? Did I go too far? Okay. Well, he will be here. We'll see how he arrives. Most likely, it'll be in a
Typical
white
JJ fashion.
in a white work van and probably be about 45 minutes late. But but cool. Let's get into some nerdy nudes.
The nerdy nudes.
Yeah, nice.
I tried. Sorry, JJ.
Yeah,
He does it better.
You know what though? Like that's okay. You don't have to be JJ. You are great the way you are. We don't need more JJs in this world. Like, I'm happy I have you as a co-host, and not that I'm not happy JJ's coming back, but I'm happy for the variety. How about that?
Good. Variety is the spice of life.
Cool. Well, let's get into this first news story here. This comes from Eurogamer. Tom Phillips, the news editor over there, writes, sounds like Capcom will stick to first person for Resident Evil 8.
Wow, shocker.
Yeah. Shocking, huh? Didn't expect that one.
Plot twist. They're sticking with the same thing they did last time.
Yeah. I mean, it works so well. Like, why not, why fix something that's not broken?
Yeah.
Like, they tried it. It worked. People loved it. Might as well stick with it. Yeah. But it says here, Capcom's unannounced but inevitable Resident Evil 8 will retain the first-person gameplay of predecessor Resident Evil 7, according to a new report on the project from fan site Biohazard Cast via the YouTube channel Residents of Evil. So this is, at this point, yeah, I like that YouTube channel name. It's nice. At this point, it's just some leaked reports / rumors, but Eurogamer also has heard independently, so from other sources, that sources close to Capcom, that they've also heard the same ideas. So that's a good sign. That means it's probably somewhat legit if two different people heard from two different sources the same thing.
Yeah.
That's what they call corroboration. Is that the word I was going for?
Corroborating your story?
I think I was going to say one word, and then I went blank, and I just pulled that one out of thin air. So hopefully that was the word I was going for. But yeah, Resi 7's first-person viewpoint being kept in Resi 8 is something of a surprise. Is it? That's not what the article says. The article says it's been something of a surprise. Now that I'm reading it, I don't think it's very surprising.
I'm not surprised.
Eurogamer was surprised. Several years after the former's oddball virtual reality origins, the shift to first person was a huge departure for the series, and one which Capcom has steered clear of implementing in its recent Resident Evil remakes, which I think is good. Like, I'm glad Resident Evil 2 and 3 are going to be third person, because that's what those games were. You don't want to change them up too much, right?
Yeah, and it feels good too.
But yeah, it also makes sense as a way to clearly delineate the two series branches Capcom is currently developing, as remakes such as Resident 2 and 3 revive the series' origins for nostalgic fans, while 7 and 8 offer a more experimental future. Now let's get into the meat of this rumor. Not only will Resi 8 be first person, but here it is. The above report mentions the return of Resident Evil 7's protagonist Ethan and classic Resident Evil character Chris Redfield.
Yeah.
Neither of which will be a surprise to fans.
They were in 7.
Because they were both in 7. But it also suggests we'll see, the report also suggests we'll see, now this is what gets me hyped right here. Ready?
Yep.
Werewolf-like enemies.
The dogs are back.
Bring on the werewolves, man. But not just dogs, like... I guess in my head I imagine like werewolf, more lycanthrope type creatures, which would be pretty sweet.
I don't think that's gonna. I think they're just gonna be just dogs that turn into vicious looking monster things, like in 2.
Maybe that could be it. I mean, because they do have a thing with animals. Like they've done gators and gorillas and
Freaking
birds
bees.
and everything. Bees, like
those flies in 7. Oh my
plants,
gosh.
flowers, like all sorts of stuff. Like they've turned everything into a zombie. So why not dogs? But in my mind, like, yeah, even in the little picture,
is he wearing a shirt? Am I mistaken over here? Is that a sweater?
I mean, it's a werewolf. It's a furry were creature, man. He's covered in fur.
Now that's surprising. I don't know why they'd be surprised that it's going back to first person. Werewolves are surprising.
But werewolves will be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. It also suggests, werewolf-like enemies, proper zombies.
Proper zombies.
Which I was kind of curious what they meant by that because, I mean, in Resident Evil 7, we didn't have zombies. You had the weird possessed family and then the mud goo creatures.
I forgot what they're called.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I never talked about the slime creatures.
They were weird. Yeah, like those weird black slime creatures.
Mold creatures.
That's what it was, the molded, yeah. So it has been a couple of years since we've had proper zombies, so it'll be cool to get that back. And then it says, and a female apparition which chases you through castle and village environments. The female apparition part is interesting because I feel like even in Resident Evil...
That would be his girlfriend. It's going to be his girlfriend. Or his fiance. Oh, no,
Well, and it's
did he save her in 7?
You get to... This is a spoiler for Resident Evil 7, but you get to choose between your girlfriend or that other random girl who's been stuck there at the families. So, yeah.
But no, it doesn't... I think there's a DLC. The dad goes back for the girl. I need to play through it, but there's... Did you play through any of the DLC?
I think the DLC, I think it's a prequel. I think that's how the other girl shows up at the...
No, there's 2. You play a prequel
I have
where
the
she shows
season
up.
pass. Maybe I didn't play that one.
Yeah, I remember there's one where he goes back and you see him holding the daughter.
Maybe I need to check that out. I think the main. I think for the main story, you save your fiance.
Yeah, or
because there's like a good ending and a bad ending to the game, and I think the good one is like you save your girlfriend, obviously, and the bad one is like you save this other random girl. That's just sorry, chick.
You sliced off my hand.
Yeah, right? You cut my hand off. Sorry. Like, I hold grudges. I'm sorry. What can I say? What can I say? You know.
You did this. Why would I save you?
But also, what I was going to say too is like I remember in the Resident Evil 7 demo, and then even in the main game. There was some weird leanings towards some supernatural stuff. Resident Evil is generally not supernatural. It's a lot more scientific.
Yeah.
So I wonder with this female apparition, like, are they just leaning full on into like the weird supernatural stuff, or
maybe it's all mental? Maybe it's not actually.
That could be it.
You know?
Because I just remember like in 7, like it was never flat out said or shown, but it was like weird little things here and there. Like all of a sudden you walk into a room and you're like looking at a picture on a shelf and like the piano like shuts like bang, like all by itself, like a ghost knocked it over or something, or the wind, whatever. But it was just weird things like that, like something would like tip over like for no reason. It's like, wait a second, what's going on? Yeah. So I wonder, is this something maybe a push towards that, or is it going to be more scientific in some way?
I think it'll be scientific. I'm hoping it'll be scientific. That's what made Resident Evil so far.
Yeah, that's what makes it so different than like from Silent Hills or any of those other horror games. Like it's not the weird psychological or even supernatural stuff. It's all, hey, this is a virus and people are getting infected with it.
Yeah.
But I also thought the castle and village environments was interesting. Does that mean we're getting sort of like an Eastern European type thing? Like, I think that would be kind of cool.
I don't know.
Where was Resident Evil 4 take place though? Like, isn't that kind of a similar?
I don't remember. Kind of similar setting in the mountains.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what part of the country, but I don't know. As soon as I heard that, like castles and villages, I'm like, oh, okay, is this going to be...
It'd be cool if Leon comes back.
That would be cool. I mean, they brought at the very, very tail end of the game, like basically the game ended with Chris Redfield coming in on a blue umbrella helicopter.
Yeah.
Like as like, hey, here he is, and then the game ended. Like you didn't even get to play with him or
you get to play him in the DLC.
In the DLC you do, but like the main story you don't. Like we had to wait like a year and a half to play as Chris Redfield. It took them so they kept delaying it. But yeah, I wonder if they'll do something similar like at the end. Yeah, bring in like Leon or I don't know, any of the other characters, especially since they've been reintroducing people with these prequels, not the prequels, the remakes. Like they could bring back Jill Valentine or something like that. Like, hey, here's
That'd be cool. With
whoever.
the same model from Resident Evil 3.
Yeah, I don't know. Be
Cool.
pretty sweet.
Speaking of Resident Evil, this is a Resident Evil bonus.
All
Netflix
right.
just dropped news today that they are doing a Resident Evil TV show.
That sounds good to
Yeah.
me.
8 episodes.
Dang.
They haven't revealed anything about the plot, but yeah, 8 episodes long. It's gonna be a regular quarter season.
That's pretty sweet. Man, that's actually really awesome because I always loved the movies. Like I was a big
Yeah.
fan of like the movies previously, even though they weren't great, but they were fun. They were a lot of fun.
Just popcorn flicks.
But no, I'm glad you brought that up because let's just go into the next news story here. How about that?
Segway.
This is a little segue off of that. So Cory Barlog wants a
man.
God of War Netflix series.
Me too,
this
Corey.
comes from Games Radar, Jordan Gerblick over there. God of War director Cory Barlog would like to see the series adapted for Netflix, but says he's got nothing more than hopes and dreams to share for the moment. So yeah, over on Twitter, Games Industry, the news site .biz, tweeted out, which other games IP lend themselves to Netflix-style series? We discuss on the gamesindustry.biz podcast, and I have a link to the episode or whatever. And Corey just retweeted it and said, God of War. And then in parentheses, at least I think so. Obviously, a lot of people, I'm sure, lost their minds and immediately thought, there's a God of War series coming. This is it. We're getting it.
Yeah.
He was pretty quick to come back and say, BTW, this is not a hint or anything. I just believe that games would make great TV shows because you spend so much time with the characters in fantastic worlds. But yeah, he expressed his confidence in a God of War Netflix series in the wake of the wildly successful Witcher series. So I am 100% down for, I mean, you mentioned the Resident Evil series. That would be amazing. God of War would be so crazy.
Who would you cast as Kratos?
So I've heard a couple people mention
The Rock.
I've heard The Rock. I've heard people mention Idris Elba.
Idris Elba.
I honestly, have you seen the guy who does the voice for Kratos?
Yeah, Teal'c. He used to play Teal'c in Stargate.
Yeah, I think he would be dope at, like, you might as well. He has the same voice. Like, it's his voice.
Yeah.
And he's a big dude. Like, he could totally, like...
He's not a tiny man.
He could totally play that role, and, like, it would be so cool.
Yeah.
So I'm down for, I don't know why I can't think of his name.
Man, what's the name of the guy that plays in Guardians of the Galaxy? Plays Drax.
Batista?
Yeah, Dave Bautista.
Yes.
He's kind of shorter and stockier.
Yeah. I feel like I guess I don't know how tall he is. He seems, to me, he always felt short. I think because he's so wide.
Yeah.
Like he feels short. Maybe he's not actually short.
John Cena.
But, John Cena, well.
JK.
But yeah, with, sorry, I'm looking up God of War because I want to figure out who the guy who does the voice for Kratos is. Christopher Judge.
Christopher Judge.
That's his name. Yeah, he was, like I remember at the Game Awards when it was the year that they won, the Game of the Year, and it was 2018 Game Awards. Him and the kid who played Atreus got up on stage to announce one of the other awards and who the winner was. And it's like, he was this huge hulking man. He's like wearing this t-shirt, it's all like tight around his muscles. And I'm like, dude, like he needs to be in the show.
Dude.
But my head immediately went off and I was like, okay, well,
Christian Bale. Bradley Cooper.
Okay, we're getting a little off here. I don't know about this. They could play Atreus, maybe. I don't know. A little boy.
Jared Leto.
He can play the little boy. Man, he's a weirdo.
Nathan Fielder.
Did you see the trailer for Morbius?
Yeah, it looks good.
That actually looks really good.
Looks good.
And did you see the little Easter eggs that it takes place in like the Marvel, like the MCU, like there's like Spider-Man posters and stuff in the back, like Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Well, it's a Marvel show. I don't know why it wouldn't be.
I know, but I mean, they put out I'm trying to think. Didn't they just put something else out? Well, with because it's Sony doing it, right?
Yeah.
With Sony, they made like Venom. That's not part of the MCU.
Yeah.
And they've talked about making other movies that aren't part of the MCU but are Marvel based. So that's why I just assumed it'd be separate.
Oh.
But like they've already, and at the very end it has what's his name who plays Vulture or whatever.
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton makes a cameo. So it's like, okay, as Michael Keaton from Homecoming. Is that which one it was from?
No, that wasn't from Homecoming. It was not Homecoming.
It was Homecoming. Yeah.
I'm thinking of Far From Home.
Oh, that was the second one. Yeah. So Homecoming, and then there's like a poster of like Spider-Man on a wall somewhere. I'm like, what? This would be so crazy.
Yeah. Well, because Spider-Man fights Morbius in I think the comics, and he finds out that Morbius is a good guy.
Interesting.
Classic.
Spoiler alert.
Comics are just soap operas for dudes.
100%.
Oh, he died. Oh, he's back. This time he's bad. And this time he has an eye patch.
Oh, he has a new outfit. Whoa,
it's red now.
Yeah. But yeah, what other? This is a question I off the old noggin here, made up. What other games would you think would make fun TV shows?
I would love to see a Metroid show.
Oh man,
I'd love to see a Metroid show.
Yeah, Metroid would be good. This is going to be maybe
with Scarlett Johansson as Samus.
That would be awesome too. This might be too obvious of an answer for who I am, but
whoa! Can I guess?
Go ahead.
Can I guess? Does it take place in the Metal Gear universe?
100%. You are correct. Metal Gear Solid, the TV show. So Jordan Vogt Roberts has been teasing us for years now about this frickin' Metal Gear movie. He's been putting up concept art and not concept art for the movie, but just art that he's been using for his think board, whatever, creative board, art board, whatever you call it, whatever he's using to like focus his inner Jordan Vogt Roberts
inspiration mood board.
Yeah, exactly. He posted on Twitter all the time, and it's just like, oh man, if even just a smidgen of this art showed up like in a TV show or a movie, it would be the best movie ever made in the history of forever.
I'm just gonna say this.
Okay.
If the TV show is anything like the game, no one's gonna be able to understand it or follow it.
That's not true. The Metal Gear story is not that hard to understand.
How many times have you played it before you understood it?
Well, that's not a fair question because I played it when I was like 6 or 7 years old. So you're not going to understand a lot of things when you're 6 or 7 years old. Okay. So I played it a lot when I was younger.
I feel like it gets more convoluted the more older I got. Like by the time I got to 5, it was like, what the heck are these zombie things?
No, 5. I don't even count 5 as part of the series. It's garbage.
Okay.
The story, they didn't even finish the story. Like it just, it's.
Well, Konami whatever. Fired Kojima before he could.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I really only count the first 4. Not that 5 was a bad game. 5 was still a fun game, but the story is garbage.
Okay, that's fair. I never finished 5. I liked playing 5, but that's also been like my only like real.
Yeah, that was one I didn't finish either.
Okay.
Because it was so like off the wall and all over the place. I'm like, I don't need like this. I don't understand what's going on. Like, I don't know what's up with these creatures. I got really far into it. I'm like, I'm done. I'm sorry. I can't take any more of this nonsense.
Then you played Death Stranding.
I played Death Stranding, which was Game of the Year last year. In my heart and a lot of people's hearts. I got the email from PlayStation this last week. They do the not viewer's choice, but like gamer's choice or whatever, votes for Game of the Year and Game of the Decade. And it won a lot of the Game of the Year for different categories.
That's pretty cool.
By the users. So it's not just like a bunch of critics who are paid off by Kojima or something. It's like people just like the game. So I like
There is a lot to like about that game. I tease.
Yeah.
Because that game is so strange.
Everyone
but it is a good game.
Everyone teases, but I love what I love.
Yeah.
But yeah, Metal Gear TV. I think that'd be perfect. I think that'd be perfect because it's episodic. Like, and give you in the bite-sized pieces, and it doesn't have to be the exact same story. Like, that's the fun thing about the universe is they can change it up a little bit. They can add characters, take away characters. Like, obviously, it would be cool. Is like this is give me the whole thing, and to have like 2 seasons of like just for Metal Gear Solid 1. Like, that'd be insane.
Yeah,
but,
it makes sense. There's a lot of source material.
Yeah,
there's so much.
Although, like Metal Gear Solid 1 takes place in real time, like over the course of just like what? Maybe it's not, I don't even think it's 24 hours. Like it's
24 did that.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, right. And they killed it. So Yeah. Although there's a lot of just running
Bring
up and down
Kiefer
corridors.
Sutherland back.
No,
to
that was
play
that was the biggest
Snake.
travesty of Metal Gear Solid 5 is not having David Hayter in there.
I don't know. I thought Kiefer Sutherland did a good job of his voice.
No, I was very upset about that.
Why come they didn't have David Hayter do it?
I don't even know. I don't know the reasoning behind it. I never heard why.
Maybe he quit.
Maybe he did, but he was always amazing at it. I always see
Maybe he's a hater.
I always see like those videos on Twitter where people like run into him at a con and he'll be like, "Oh, can you do your Metal Gear or your Solid Snake voice?" And he's super cool and he's like, "Okay, what do you want me to say?" And he'll like say whatever people want and like do video messages, former voicemails, and like, I want to run into David Hayter at a con. It'd be so cool. I would keep that voicemail for the rest of my life. Like, I don't know what else. What else would make a cool TV show or movie though? I don't know.
Oh, dude, there's so many. You got Zelda would be a cool one.
Well, Zelda though, like Zelda's weird though.
Titanfall.
It's such a weird like timeline and storyline through the whole series. Like,
You're gonna recommend Metal Gear Solid and then tell me that Zelda has a weird timeline.
It does though. You look at Metal Gear Solid and it's like
it takes place in Cuba and somehow they have like mechs.
I mean,
that takes place in the science fantasy. Or what is it? History fantasy, historical.
But Legend of Zelda, there's some stories fiction that has like totally different like what do you call it? Like
alternate universes
and stuff. Like it's like all over the place.
So does Marvel. So does DC.
Yeah, but Marvel took 10 years to like set up and have it make sense. With
Zelda's been around since like 87, 86.
But the only reason we understand it as gamers is because we can look back now after like 20 years and be like, or 30 years, whatever, and be like, this is how it makes sense in the whole timeline of things. Where if they're just releasing like TV shows to the general public, then be like, what the heck? Like, what's going on?
No,
like,
you just take it in bites.
Confusing.
You take it in bites.
It'd be so confusing. It would be so bizarre.
Okay, well, Titanfall would be a good one.
It'd be a fun kids cartoon. Zelda would be a fun kids cartoon.
It was. They tried. It sucked.
I think
they have to reboot it hard.
I think if they rebooted it, I think they could do it. But
yeah.
I don't know. That's just me. I think it'd be a terrible like TV show.
Gears of War.
That would be really good.
Halo, which actually is going to be its own TV show on Showtime.
They've been saying that for like
they've already
15
they've
years.
got Pablo Schreiber already cast.
I remember when I was in
Pablo Schreiber's they already started shooting for
I was
it
in
like
like
a couple weeks ago.
6th grade, which that was like what, like 2004 or 5 or something.
They already started shooting.
And I remember that
Google it.
trailer for the Halo movie came out. I think it was like a fake one.
It was a fake. That was a fan made one.
Either way, there was talks then. The reason it came out is because there was talks to make a movie back then. It's been like 20 years.
But they still started the show. They still start. They're in production now.
I'll believe it when I see it.
You can Google it.
I'll believe it when I see
You'll
it.
Google all my other things to fact check me, but you don't want to be wrong.
There's no way. There's no way to know. There's no way to find out. I don't think there's any way to figure out if this is even a real thing. For all
Halo,
I know.
Showtime.
Showtime.
Release date, everything you need to know.
9 episodes.
See?
It's fallen in popularity. It's at 2,183.
Oh, that's so hot. That's so low.
I don't know what that even means, but it says its release date is 2021.
Mass Effect would be a good show. 2021. See? Release date.
I'll believe it when I see it. There's no way that's happening.
Follow Pablo Schreiber on Instagram. He's posting all this stuff about being the Master Chief.
We'll see.
Mass Effect. Did you hear me when I said Mass Effect?
I heard you.
That'd be good.
I haven't played those, but
Dragon Age.
I'll take your word for it, yeah.
Dragon Age would be dope. If Witcher can do it, Dragon Age can do it.
Yeah, maybe.
There's
Dragon
so
Age.
many characters in that game.
Yeah. I haven't played too much. I've only played like little demos and like rented it for a little bit though. I've never played through a whole one, so I'm not a good judge on that one. I'm sorry.
Man, bro. Letting me down. This hurts.
Well,
those are my favorite games.
I'm sorry.
Mass Effect Dragon Age.
I haven't touched them. I don't have time when I'm just playing the greats over here. Metal Gear and Death Stranding. It just takes up all your time.
I'm sorry. I'm going to leave.
Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Well, let's...
All right, I'll finish the show.
Let's get into the rest of these news stories before we have too bad of an argument and too bad of a fight here on air. So this was a crazy story. Nintendo Switch sales pass 52 million units, nearly quadrupling Wii U numbers.
Okay, that doesn't matter. Nobody bought the Wii U.
Yeah, no one cares about the Wii U. So that's
give me a
I don't
break.
know why that even...
Get to the good part. Get to the good part.
This is by Michael McWhorter at Polygon. Nintendo has sold more than 52 million Switch consoles since the system's launch in May of 2017, which is insane. So it's been coming up on 3 years. That's so crazy.
That's fast.
Nintendo announced the sales milestone in the company's quarterly financial results, boasting of strong Switch sales boosted by the Nintendo Switch Lite, which came out just last September, and the launch of the console in China as well, which happened just last fall. They finally released it in China.
Wow.
The Switch has now outsold Nintendo's Super Nintendo, which sold 49.1 million units, and has reached about half of the cumulative sales of the Wii, which sold 101.63 million units, according to Nintendo's estimates. The Switch is now sold as predecessor of the Wii U. Well, we don't care. No one cares about the Wii U. Okay, so here's the big one here. Nintendo's Switch sales milestone also puts it ahead of lifetime Xbox One console sales, according to analysts. This is from Daniel Ahmed on Twitter. Also worth pointing out that according to our estimates, the Nintendo Switch passed the Xbox One in hardware shipments during the holiday quarter last year. The Xbox One is not too far behind, but it has only taken the Switch 34 months to achieve what the Xbox One did in 74 months. That blew my mind. When I read that, I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, the Switch is killing it. A, the Switch is killing it, and B, what is going on with Xbox that, like...
Well, it's easy. Okay, the Switch has more universal, like, draw. So... Xbox, you think about the games that come out for Xbox. Not very many of them are very kid-friendly. You know what I mean?
You're right, but they get a lot of the same third party as PlayStation does.
Still, I mean, the most kid-friendly games that are actually super good would be your Mario, your Zelda, your Star Fox. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mario Kart.
Yeah,
and
Star
all those
Fox.
things.
We've gotten those
Pokemon
recently.
I know they haven't had any good ones. I think the last one was on the DS. It was a remake of 64. But you know what I mean? That's kind of why. There's more it's easier for people to grab those consoles. And especially since people that own an Xbox are also going to want to buy a Switch because they're portable.
Right.
So there's so many many reasons.
I agree with you partially there, but also like the PlayStation has sold 100 and some odd million units as well. So, I mean, as far as like the kid-friendly thing, it's like, well, I mean, the PlayStation's still able to sell like over 100 million units. Like what?
Right. So that's because PlayStation and Xbox users are kind of the same demographic, right? So if you own a PlayStation, you're not really going to own an Xbox, and vice versa. I mean, you can. Some people do, but for the most part, you're either going to buy one or the other. PlayStation has better games. So if you had to pick between the two, it's like, well, duh, I'm going to get the console that has the good games and the console where all my friends are at. PlayStation. So if you own a PlayStation and you don't have a portable console, now you're like, well, I'm looking at that Switch.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun. So now you're a PlayStation owner and you're a Switch owner.
Right. Yeah. And with the Switch Lite, when you can get one for $200, it's like it's a no-brainer at that point.
Exactly. Like.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I get you now. Yeah, that makes sense. But it still just blew my mind. Like, because
it is pretty incredible.
Like the Xbox One, I guess when it gave the time frames, is like that's what really blew it out of the water for me. Like 34 months for the Switch, and the Xbox One has been out. It took Xbox One 74 months. That's more than double the time essentially. you know, and yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
It's incredible.
Let's see. Based on sales trends, the Switch appears to be selling faster than the Nintendo 3DS, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 4, but is pacing behind the Wii. The Wii was Nintendo's fastest selling, but overall third best selling platform of all time behind the Nintendo DS and Game Boy lines. Down, predictably, were 3DS sales, which dropped 73% year over year. Nintendo sold just 620,000 3DS units during the 9-month period that ended in December. Bringing lifetime sales of the 3DS to 75.71 million. But they also announced last year that they were discontinuing like support in games.
Man, I got to get Samus Returns done as soon as I can, because that game is super fun on that console.
I have so many times gone to GameStop site or like Amazon and like hovered over the add to cart button on a 3DS because you can get like or the 2DS, like the 2DS, the new 2DS.
Get 2DS. Just get the 3DS.
I've heard like the new 2DS XL though is really good and it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And because the only thing I've ever heard is like most people don't ever use it. The only thing the 3DS has that the 2DS doesn't is the 3D, and most people don't use the 3D.
Is it fold still? Because I remember the regular 2DS doesn't fold, and I was like, what the heck?
I think so. I think the new 2DS is like the doorstop wedge one, and then the new 2DS XL is when I think they went back to the fold.
Then get that one.
And so I've looked at both of those because they're so cheap, and there's
some great games on that console, man.
There's so many games. Like they have so many stinking games.
Pokemon X and Y.
Yeah. So I've looked at that so many times, but that's why that dropped so much this last year, though, is they've officially announced, hey, we're discontinuing this because we're moving to the Switch.
Like, Zelda?
Switch. Yeah.
Link Between Worlds?
I know. Well, I want to get it just to be able to play like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. If they have like remakes of old stuff.
Majora's Mask is super good on there. I see. My wife played through Ocarina of Time. They beefed up the graphics too a bit, so it looks really pretty.
Dang.
And then Majora's Mask, same thing, and it's still just as good. It's probably one of my favorite Zelda games.
Yeah. No, I've been so tempted to pick one of those up. I was like, it's cheap.
Do it. Don't think about it. Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it. Just commit.
Put it on credit.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the American way.
That's unfortunately that's true.
Patriotic. If you're not in debt, you're not a patriot.
Not truly living if you're not in debt. Oh man. And then on the software side, this blew me away too. It shouldn't have blown me away. It's because this is like duh, but at the same time. So Nintendo calls Pokemon Sword and Shield huge hits. The pair of Pokemon games released in November have already sold more than 16 million copies. Switch games Luigi's Mansion 3 and Super Mario Maker 2 have also sold over 5 million units each. So obviously Pokemon Sword and Shield, that's two different games. So essentially
combined is 16.
So they sold about 8 million each. But I don't know, that still blew me away. I was like, holy cow, like that's amazing.
That's awesome.
Like that's so cool.
Like at the end of that.
But obviously nothing can touch Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That kart game has sold 22.96 million copies to date, putting it ahead of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at 17.68 million, Super Mario Odyssey at 16.59 million, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at 16.3 more.
Wow, it sold more than Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, so
see, that's what I'm saying.
Mario Kart 8,
accessibility.
Yeah, Mario Kart 8, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Super Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Pokemon Sword and Shield just below those.
Wow, that's incredible.
That is quite the lineup.
Yeah,
and like all those games are, like if you have a Switch and you don't have those games, you're done messed up. Like those are. Like,
I don't have Smash Bros.
What are you doing with your life?
I'm not a Smash Bros. fan. Smash Bros. is literally I love it. I love the concept of it. It's fun, but I don't got anybody to play with. And that game to play by myself was really boring.
Yeah, you're right.
I am right.
It is. I mean, but you have kids. That's what you have kids for.
I don't want to teach my kids how to beat things up yet.
But it's like,
they do that
it's like
already.
Mario and Yoshi, like squeak, 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 squeak.
And then you got Marth. He's got a sword.
Yeah, but it's not like he's
although my kids would
people's
love
heads off. It might as well be a Nerf sword, you know?
Yeah, I really want to get the Fire Emblem Three Houses game. I've come pretty close to buying it last few days.
Dude, after I talked with Adrian last week on the podcast, I'm like, oh man, I might need to get that game.
Why did you play it?
What's that?
Did you play it?
Yeah, he played it, and he's always been super into Fire Emblem as far as if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But I've never played one, and he was just like, yeah, this, and this is great, and this is great. I'm like, oh shoot, like. And he was saying too, like this is probably the most accessible one. Three Houses is like out of all of them. If you've never played one, which is why I'm like I've never played one, this might be my time to jump in and check it out.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Birthright and Conquest were really really hard.
Okay. Yeah.
Those are the 3DS ones.
Okay.
The ones before that one, Awakening, that one was pretty fun. So.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if it. I always say that, like, oh, if it goes on sale, pick it up. Nintendo stuff doesn't go on sale.
It never goes on sale.
Happen.
You just got to pay full price.
Yeah.
Bite the bullet.
You gotta suck it up.
Go into debt.
Just do it. Go into debt. Pull out that credit card.
Get that Apple Card.
Speaking of Nintendo, this next article comes from Ars Technica by Kyle Orland. Nintendo announces that I can't talk right. No new Switch model planned for 2020. The power gap between the portable hybrid and the next-gen consoles looks set to widen. So Nintendo says it won't be releasing another new version of the Switch this year. Regarding Nintendo Switch, we believe that it is important to continue to communicate the appeal of both Nintendo Switch systems and expand the installed base. CEO Shintaro Furukawa said in an investor briefing following an earnings report. Please note that we have no plans to launch a new Nintendo Switch model during 2020. The announcement counters multiple reports from the past 12 months that suggest Nintendo was looking into a more powerful Switch model with an improved OS, image rendering, and usability functions.
And they probably are. Not this year.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I remember, I think it was an earlier episode of the podcast, like last spring sometime. I think we did like 2 or 3 episodes in a row because reports kept coming out. Like, hey, new Nintendo Switch console. Like, everyone thought it was coming out last summer. It's coming last summer. And then, I mean, they did end up announcing the Lite.
Yeah.
But everyone thought it was going to be that Pro model or whatever that means.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. The rest of this stuff kind of goes on to talk about how, that gap is widening between Switch now and with PS5 and Xbox Series X coming out.
But that's okay.
That's obviously okay. Like, it's based off of the sales we just saw in that last article.
Yeah.
It's obviously not an issue because even now, there's a pretty wide gap between PS4 and Switch.
Yep.
And Xbox One and Switch.
Or this might be Nintendo's flop. You'll notice that they always I feel like they flop every other console.
Okay, yeah.
You ever notice that? So they had like the Super Nintendo, which did really great. Mm-hmm. And the N64, which did pretty well, but couldn't really compete with PlayStation 1. And then they had the GameCube, which flopped, right? Like 64 was like kind of like a mid-flop. And then GameCube heck of flopped.
Right.
And then they came back with the Wii.
It's still so good. I don't know.
It's got a couple good games on it, but when you really like think about it compared to PlayStation 2 and the era and the Xbox, I mean, think about it. They had the Xbox, which jumped in and had Halo, and that just like took over.
Which was an all right game, 4 out of 10.
Then they had the Wii, which came in and kicked everybody's butts. And then they had the Wii U, which flopped, and then they had the Switch. So either the next Switch console, Nintendo console, whatever, is going to do really, really well or do really, really poorly.
Really, really bad. No, that is interesting. But I guess my thought, too, is like if they came out with a new one, I think it would be more like if they even do it. Like at this point, they're like, we're not doing it. It's not happening. Stop talking about it. But if it was, it would just be like a step up, similar to like the Pro model or like the X model. I guess that's what I thought in my head. Like it wouldn't be a full on like new console like what Nintendo generally does.
Like an actual generational leap.
Because I mean, they did that with the 3DS. We were just talking about the 3DS. There's first the 3DS, and then they came out with the 2DS. And then they had the new 3DS, and then they had the new 2DS, and then they had a new 3DS XL and a new 2DS XL. Like, it's all the same console, but they've
done that since the Game Boy, though.
Yeah, the Game Boy did the same thing. Yeah, the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP.
Well, Game Boy Color to Game Boy Advance was a generational leap.
That was a leap. Yeah, you're right.
But then you had the advancing of the Advance SP.
Yeah, like I had the the thing was
I still have mine.
I have my clamshell, so good.
On our trip to Monterey, I loaned Isaac one of my older Game Boy Advances so we can play Mario on the way up.
Nice.
He thought he was so cool. He thought he was like the coolest kid in the world.
He is, man. That's the coolest console in the world. It automatically makes you the coolest kid in the world.
Not my SP. I loaned him an older
the SP. That's like a glass case somewhere, right?
Yeah, actually,
display case.
I keep all my game. I have like a special box for all of it, and I keep it up on a shelf. It's got all my old Game Boy Advance games and Game Boy. Yeah, it's glorious. It's actually a box that my grandfather made for me. Anyway,
that's awesome.
I digress. To your point, the Switch, it's either going to make or break it because the XSX, Xbox Series X,
XSX,
SSX tricky.
It's so hard to say.
SSX, or the PlayStation 5. They're doing what they've kind of always done, which has been just completely reiterate better graphics, faster, stronger hardware. Nintendo iterates in more of a creative, imaginative way.
Right.
From console
There's
to
always
console.
a new gimmick.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, gimmick, whatever you want to call it, way of playing, right?
Yeah.
And it's either something that people want to play with or they don't.
They're always reinventing the wheel.
Right. That's a very good way of putting it. So so we'll see. So I don't think the next Switch, if they make it would be like a Pro model step up, kind of like what they did with the Lite, right?
Right.
Or it'll be something completely out of left field that we're not even going to see coming. So.
Yeah. So what kinds of things would you like to see, whether it's a step up or it's a full new console generation? What is something that you would like to see in that new Switch thing?
I honestly, I wouldn't mind. there's no reason for me to go out and buy a Pro right now unless it really had some bells and whistles that I really, really wanted.
What if you could play Breath of the Wild in 4K?
Yeah, even then. You know what I mean? Like, that game already is really pretty. But, I mean, I don't know. I think the thing that I just want Nintendo to keep doing is just keep making great games. And making them portable.
Yeah.
Like, I love that my wife and I can sit on the couch, have Netflix going, and I can be playing on my Switch. And she can be playing games on her phone. You know?
Yeah. Huh.
I don't know.
Yeah. For me, I don't know. I think I don't necessarily want anything too crazy either. Like, I think if they could just get the console just powerful enough so it can just play things smoothly.
Yeah, handle like even like a low res version of what's going to come out on the SXX,
right?
And the S and the PS5.
Exactly. Even like because like they recently ported The Witcher 3, which is a early PS4 game. Was it a PS3 game?
Yeah, because it came out on 360.
I didn't realize The Witcher 3 was that old. Wow. Okay, I thought it was like just an early PS4 game. But
fact check me on that.
Now you're curious.
Yeah.
Let's see, Witcher 3. Give me that Wikipedia. Of course, the internet just craps out. Usually there's a little box right there. It tells me everything I need to know. It came out on Windows, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch.
Okay.
So it was not on PS3. But even still,
incorrect.
It was an older one. It was 2015, so it was just like pretty early on in the generation. Granted, it's still a massive game, but they just brought that to Switch.
Yeah.
And it does not run great. So even if they could just upgrade it so it can run PS4 games well and even play, like you were saying, low res PS5 and Xbox SX games, all right, that would be awesome. Because right now, like,
they have Doom on there, and they have Wolfenstein 2 and Skyrim, and all of those are.
I feel like they all run all right. None of them run great. Like, you're not getting the 60 frames per second, or even some of them you're not even getting a steady 30. Like, I think if they could at least maintain a steady 30 with most of their stuff at like, it doesn't even have to be high res because the screen on there is only 720p and it still looks great because it's so small. Like, who cares? Right. So run it at like, even if they can do 720, that'd be great. 1080, that would be amazing. Like, if you could do it at least 1080, but even 720 at a steady 30, or even like bump it up to 60 for some of those smaller games, that would be amazing. Because that's the biggest thing that I run into on the Switch is like I'll randomly, I don't know. I feel like I've had an issue with almost every game, at least at one point or another. And it's not consistent, but like weird little hiccups here and there. All of a sudden, like, frame drops or something. Like, just give me just enough specs in there to give me consistency on everything.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm playing. So I don't ever have those hiccups when I'm loading into like a big area on whatever. Like, if I'm playing Skyrim on there. Like, just let it just load. True. Like, that was a PS3 game.
Yeah, and that's an older game. Yeah.
And that one it runs good, all right, but it's not like,
I think
this is great.
It's also a port thing too. I mean, think about it. All the games we've just mentioned are all ports. They're not like made for.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, you're right, but yeah, just consistency would be cool. So I don't know. We will see. We will see what if and when they ever come out with a new version of it.
Yeah.
If they do, I could totally see something like 2021. Yeah. Like, let the PS5 and Xbox Series X kind of settle down a little bit, and then like in the summer or fall of the next year, be like, hey, here's your thing.
Switch came out in the spring.
Right.
Came out in like March.
No, and that's I was almost gonna say spring, but that's still only like 4 or 5 months after these other releases potentially. Oh, yeah. So it's I feel like it's kind of close. So if they wanted to release in 2021, I feel like they would give it a little more time, like at least a year, or even wait till spring 2022.
Yeah, I think that's probably more likely. Just my unprofessional opinion.
Hey, I'm
like an armchair.
We're just as good as professionals here. Right?
I'm an armchair analyst.
Alrighty, well, let's get into some new releases real quick. So just one of note. I looked over the list and I was like, I hadn't really heard of any of the other games on there, but this one, I actually reached out to these people on Twitter. They put out a post and were like, hey, does anyone want to try our game? Send us your info, and we'll send it to you like an early review copy or something. I messaged the guy, and he got back to me like, oh, I'll look over your stuff, and then I never heard back from him. I'm like,
nah.
Cool. Yeah, he saw that we only had 30 followers, and he's like, nah, we're good.
Sorry, bro.
But it is Zombie Army 4 Dead War for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It came out on February 4th. So this is by the same people who do Sniper Elite games. So it looks,
is it now?
it's I think it's like it takes place in like World War II. It's basically like Nazi zombies, but an entire game of that. But like the cool thing is like with the gun mechanics, like you aim down the sights, like if you have your sniper rifle, and when you shoot, it does the whole like bullet cam, like slow motion, like through their head, and it does like the X-ray, so you can see it cracking through their skull. I think they have like a free version of. They have a free version of Sniper Elite on the phone. So I used to play like the phone game a lot. And then a couple months ago, it was free on PlayStation Plus. Sniper Elite 4, which is like the newer one. It just came out like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And that's like, so they have like Sniper Elite's their regular World War II, like not modern day, but like actual timeline realistic version.
Yeah.
And then Zombie Army is like their, hey, this is if Nazi zombies were a real thing kind of version of it. It just looked really fun. Like, I don't think it's probably a good game, but it looks like a really fun game, that's for sure. And I think it's supposed to have co-op, like up to 4-player co-op or something like that.
That'd be cool.
So get a bunch of people in there shooting some zombie hordes.
Fun times.
So go check it out. At least check out a trailer. Looks pretty fun. Oh, what you been playing, Zech?
Okay, so I've been bouncing back and forth between a few games like I always do. Okay, so
Such is life.
Yeah, I'm working my way through Gears of War 5. I've been playing some more of that. Found out some pretty big plot twists recently, and I'm like, holy cow, this game is great, even better than what I thought.
Okay.
And picked up Call of Duty Modern Warfare on PC.
Dude, how have you been liking it?
It's really fun.
Yeah.
So I've been playing through the campaign on Xbox, and I really liked it, but I'd rather play a FPS like that on PC.
Okay.
So I was like, just because I kind of miss playing Modern Warfare on PC from way back when.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. See, and it was on sale for like, I think $40.
Oh, nice.
And so I was like, perfect time to swoop. So I grabbed it. Don't regret it. The game is really fun on PC.
That's so good.
I love it. Mechanics and everything are still really tight. So I've been playing a lot of that. I'm finally at the end of Pokemon Shield.
Okay.
At like one badge left.
Dang. That's one I've had a hard time going back to and picking up. I don't know what it is. I really had hoped the new Pokemon would grab me because I'd mentioned it on the show before and maybe to you, but like the last one I played was Ruby and Sapphire, like Game Boy Advance games. And I was like, okay, it's been like forever. This one's going to get me. It's going to be great. And it just didn't. Like, it was just so hard. And I'm kind of bummed. Like, I want it to because I want it to. Yeah. But I got like 3 badges in. I'm like, I'm good. I think I'm good.
So I'm kind of with you on that. The story hasn't really grabbed me at all in this one. I mean, the stories are all kind of like rated G and for like kids, so it's not really like a whole lot you can really expect. But I think the last one that really grabbed me was Pokemon X. And even though there was some new Pokemon that I didn't remember being in it, they were in it. But what I loved about it was going back and catching all of the old Pokemon that I loved. So I think I would like Pokemon Shield more if it had those older Pokemon.
More
and I can be like,
Pokemon,
yeah, awesome.
That is one thing. And when all that controversy happened with whatever Pokédex Gate or whatever they're calling it, like I was just like, whatever, like who cares? It's no big deal. But now that I'm playing it, I'm like, it sucks.
Kind of matters.
Kind of sucks. I don't know any of these Pokemon. Like I was hoping for that nostalgic pull to suck me in, and there isn't that because many of those cool old Pokemon aren't there.
Some of them are, but some of them look kind of lame. Like Rapidash looks like a unicorn.
Yeah. Yeah. They have all the Galarian versions of them and stuff. It's just like, okay, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
The Zigzagoon's all looks like he's, Kiss band member.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah. No, so I'm finally at the end of that. But the main game I've been really playing and loving and highly recommend that everybody who loves top-down dungeon crawler RPGs play is Children of Morta.
Okay.
Okay? My wife and I have been playing it just about almost every night. And that game is really, really fun.
So you say top-down dungeon, so it's similar to like a Diablo type game?
Yeah.
I think? Okay.
And the dungeons are all procedurally generated. So if you die and you go start over, it's a different dungeon.
Similar to like Diablo 3 then.
Yeah, exactly. Diablo 3, Diablo 2, Diablo 1.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
now that one, what console is that on? I've definitely heard
it's
of
on
it, but
all
I'm
the
trying to
consoles.
think. Okay.
It's on Xbox, it's on PlayStation, it's on Switch, it's on PC.
Interesting.
And you can get it through Game Pass right now if you have Game Pass.
Ask you, is it on PC Game Pass though? Because
I don't know if it's on PC Game Pass.
I only have a PC. Huh.
But if you have Game Pass, you can buy it on Xbox for a discounted rate, and I think that's like $17 to buy the game.
Well, I will keep this Google search up so I remember to look into that.
Yeah.
Because I really love Diablo 3. I never played 1 or 2.
You're a Diablo 3 fan? Do you still have it?
I do have it. So I had...
Let's get down, man.
Yeah, I had it on... Well, I have it on PS4.
I have it on PC.
Yeah, see, I'm not a nerd. So... I only play on the good consoles and play the good games on there, like Metal Gear and Death Stranding. I feel like that maybe makes me more of a nerd.
We are now officially just colleagues. That's it.
Oh, no. You were going to invite me over to your house earlier, and now I've done this.
Yep, we're donezo.
Oh, shoot. That really messed
insulting
things
my
up.
nerd cred on the air.
Man, wow.
I'm just kidding.
You
I'll
win
still
some,
be
you
here.
lose some. Well,
We'll be secret BFFs.
JJ's fired. Zech quit. So we're looking for another co-host. If any out there is available, we could really use you.
No, but Diablo 3 is really fun. Jojo Morta's got like this pixel art style.
Yeah. So what makes it pixel art style? What else makes it kind of more unique and like a little extra oomph that stands out?
So the leveling up system in it, there's like a bunch of different. So basically, you have it's like a family, right? So there's a few different characters in it that you unlock as you play the game. So if you die, then the story still progresses, and you still get to come back as those characters because they get like revived.
Do you play as your children?
No, you don't.
I just saw the name is Children of Morta. Maybe like the whole mechanic.
Morta's children.
maybe the whole mechanic is like you just keep pumping out kids and you just keep playing as your kids.
Nope. That'd be nuts.
Like, gotta go.
Different game.
Gotta go make some more babies. Yeah. Be right back. BRB.
Like Sims. It's like the Sims of dungeon crawlers. But but each family member has like a different ability. So you have like John, who would be like your typical warrior sword and shield guy, and then you got his daughter Linda, who's a bow and arrow person, and then his son, we just got him, I forgot his name, Eric, I think.
And so some of them are kids then.
Yeah. So like, but they're like teenage kids and up. Yeah. But then they all live in like this house with like the grandma, and basically what's happening is like there's this corruption that's trying to take over the world. Typical corruption, always doing its thing, right?
Evil.
And
can't get rid of it.
Yeah. Gotta send in your kids. So you're trying to like figure out what's causing it and try to get to like the root of the problem and actually stop it. Because apparently, I guess it comes back like every few years. And so
it's like a leap year.
Yeah, pretty much. And but it's good. It's a good game and very pretty, beautiful soundtrack.
Okay.
Solid gameplay mechanic. Like it's definitely. If I would have played this last year before we had our review, I would have put this on my game of the year list.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This game is that good.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, now I will definitely check it out. Like I said, I have this tab open. I will see if it's on Game Pass, and if it's not on Game Pass, I will check for any sales on PlayStation because I do enjoy that type of game.
Yeah.
And just looking at some of these images,
and
I really like the art style.
And if your lady likes to play, it's a really easy game to play. It's just a little simple button mashing.
That's the thing. I've tried so many times to get Trudy to play video games because she did not grow up with video games, and she just can't figure it out. I've tried everything. Like I can't figure out.
Not even for your birthday?
The only thing she'll play is like Mario Party on Switch.
Okay, well that's a start.
And Mario Kart sometimes.
Well, ask her to help her save the world with you.
The problem is like I beat her in Mario Kart, and she doesn't want to play.
See, this one is co-op.
So then I gotta like play badly, and then she's like, "You're just losing, so I feel better." I'm like, "Yeah, but is it working?" Usually it doesn't work.
You gotta stop playing competitive games with your wife. You gotta start playing co-op games because then she's like something we can do together.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Because it's not like super difficult. At least I don't think so. Amanda and I are having a lot of fun playing it. We've died a lot, though.
That's the other thing, though. Like, I've bought a lot of games and been like, I bought this game because I thought we'd play it together. And she's like, oh, yeah, that'd be cool. And then we never do. That's the other thing. Is like, I've spent a lot of money on games that we were going to play co-op together. And what ends up happening is I don't, like, we don't play it at all because it's a co-op game, and she doesn't want to play it. I don't have friends who.
Well, either way, get this game and hope
Okay.
that she plays it with you.
I'll force her to play it.
Yeah. Wait, no, don't do that.
I will chain her to the couch. You will play this with me.
I am man. You do what I say.
So you mentioning you mentioning The Sims reminded me about February's PlayStation Plus games and Xbox games with gold games.
Ooh, what are
so February's free PlayStation Plus games. This comes out as a recording. It'll be tomorrow. As of when this releases to the public on Wednesday, it'll be yesterday. You can download BioShock the Collection on PS4. So that's 1, 2, Infinite, all the DLC.
And the regular versions of the game. I think you're getting like 6 games. No.
6 games?
5 games. Because you get BioShock 1 remastered and
Right.
BioShock 2 remastered, and then the 3 originals. BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite. I know this because I have it on
Okay.
PC.
I didn't realize you could play the not remastered version. I thought it was just remastered version.
At least it is on PC. You get the regular versions.
Well, that's cool. Anyway, well, yeah, so I'm stoked about that because I've been wanting to play this forever, and I've almost pulled the trigger on buying that so many times. Like I'll always...
You played original BioShock?
Oh, yeah, I've played them.
Okay, good.
I played them originally. I played them when they first came out, but I mean the remastered, the collection. I've
Okay.
almost bought the collection a few times,
Yeah.
and I've never pulled the trigger. I'm like, I'm going to wait till it goes on sale,
It's worth it.
But now it's
really
free,
pretty.
so I'm so stinking happy. I didn't have to pay any money. Well,
BioShock will make a good
pay
show.
$60 a year for it, but you know. And then you mentioned The Sims. The Sims 4 will also be free in February, as well as this is usually they just give away
Amanda might like that. I should
Usually
probably
they
do
give away 2 free games. This month they're doing a third one. It is a PSVR game, Firewall 0 Hour, which I've heard described as Rainbow Six Siege, but in VR. Which
Interesting.
sounds amazing. Like
Interesting.
you're literally just like shooting around corners and stuff, chucking grenades at people, like, and it's all like, you know, terrorist versus whatever special
Americans?
spec ops groups or whatever. And I don't know.
America?
I've heard it's amazing. Like it's an incredible VR game, which I'm gonna add it to my collection. I'm super upset though that I don't own my PSVR anymore, but at least I'll have it for maybe one day when I do.
Yeah.
So
You never know.
that's what I always do. Even if I don't, like back in the day when they gave away Vita games and even PS3 games, I had a PS4 and I would still claim the PS3 and Vita games. I'm like, you
Yeah.
never know. Maybe
Never
one day
know.
I'll pick up a Vita and I'll have about 500 games to play. Let's see. Also, February games with gold. This is for Xbox now. TT Isle of Man. It's a motorcycle racing game. Is free. Call of Cthulhu. Fable Heroes, which was a 360 game. And
And
then
Battlefront was an
the
Xbox.
original Star Wars Battlefront for Xbox. Like, so not the EA one, the Pandemic Lucas Arts one. So nothing. Another
Call of Cthulhu, I hear, is really good, or good enough. But yeah, nothing. I feel like that's like regular for Xbox. Though I don't think
I know,
Xbox has really dropped any. Oh my gosh, I gotta have that game. That comes back to my conversation earlier. PlayStation has great games.
No, 100%.
They have great
and even
quality games.
And even I was talking with JJ the other day, and he was like, "Hey, I did the free trial for PlayStation Now, which is like their streaming service,
Mhm.
and he's been loving it. And like he even downloaded right now. They have Horizon Zero Dawn on there.
Yeah.
And he downloaded that, and he's like, he'd never played it before. He's like, dude, this game is freaking amazing. Like, I don't know why I've never played it before. And he's like, PlayStation Now is amazing. And
Yeah.
I was telling him too. He's like, probably not gonna do it because it's $10 a month. I'm like, it's $10 a month if you pay month to month, but they dropped the price. It's only $60 if you pay for a year.
like $5.
That's like.
Like $5.
Yeah, down to
a month.
$5. It's like buying one game, like $60, but you get, I think there's almost 900 games on there.
Yeah.
So it's a way bigger library than Xbox Game Pass, and it's cheaper actually. Like even Game Pass, I mean,
Game Pass, I think, actually does have a lot more quality games on it. I'm just saying that Xbox Gold, the games they give it with Gold, aren't as good.
there's
Like
a
if-
lot. I mean, you're
You got-
right. Yeah, no. Yeah, I would have to.
Don't compete with me on this.
They're just different games.
Fair point.
Because
They are
PlayStation
different.
Now has a huge library of PS2 and PS3 games on there.
Yeah.
And their PS4 library is lacking, where Xbox I think has more, like the better Xbox One and indie titles.
Yeah.
So the more modern stuff. Well,
Yeah.
But I think PlayStation Now kills it for all the retro stuff, especially since you don't have backwards compatibility. Get PlayStation Now. Like I was telling JJ, I'm like, I want to get it just so I can play Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3 and 4. Like they have them all on there.
Yeah, I should do that so I can play with those too.
Yeah, and they have so many games on there. It's amazing. So
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Well,
Cool.
let's get back to what you're playing. I have been playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And just to preface this whole thing, I have not played very much because, like I said, I had a busy week. I don't think I played a video game all week until Saturday night. And I played for a little bit Sunday night. Like maybe a couple hours total this last week. So it was just one of those weeks. But I managed to get in a little bit of time. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I had some seriously bad issues with performance when I first tried it, to the point where I told JJ, I'm like, I'm about ready to snap this disc in half and like, light it on fire. Like,
Give it to me.
I was like I was about ready to rage quit. I'm like, why is the performance so terrible in this game? Well, I found like that setting that I adjusted and fixed. I think that helped a lot. There's actually a menu in there. I don't know if you heard on the podcast last week, but you have to like turn off the, what do you call it? Like basically sending data to Respawn, like bug data and like all this stuff, but that bogs down the game so much. So turn that off.
That thing is a bug.
Yeah, exactly. And then I also, once you get out of that first initial world, I forget what the first one's called, like Bogda or something like that, whatever that first, not the mining planet that he's on, but the first.
I haven't played it.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess technically but the second planet you go to, it runs so poorly, and I don't know why, because you'd think being right at the beginning of the game, you'd think it would run its best at the beginning of the game, because they want to suck people in and be like, this game's amazing, and then maybe some of the rougher edges are towards the end.
Yeah.
But no, this is like the second planet you go to, like the first one after like kind of the title intro story part, and I'm like, this is horrible, this is so bad. But as soon as you get to that third planet, I'm like, oh, this works great, this is perfect. So it's super weird. I don't know what's wrong with that planet, but it's one giant bug.
Maybe the internet's bad
so bad. I guess something. Man. But I've been having a blast with it. I've gotten a couple more force powers, and the puzzles are really, really fun. Like I was just in this temple, like Jedi temple, where you have to like figure out like force push stuff and all that. And I don't know, this is kind of neat. The other game I've been playing in this one, I didn't play very much either. I played like maybe 30 minutes of this, and my wife is like, I'm going to break your PlayStation because it's one of those things where it's fun to play. I was having a blast
Not
playing
fun to listen to?
Not fun to listen to. I picked up Patapon Remastered because this last week, I guess that should have been on, I don't know why that wasn't on new releases. I guess because it was kind of shadow dropped. It was like 2 days before they announced it. That came out on Friday. Patapon 2 Remastered came out on Friday. Well, they announced that, and I listened to all of the Kind of Funny content. I'm a huge fan of theirs, so I listen to every one of their podcasts, and all Greg Miller talks about is he just preaches Patapon. He's obsessed with Patapon. Patapon needs to come. Patapon 2 Remastered, like he on their PS I Love You XOXO, which is their PlayStation show. He actually has a segment where at the end of every show, he's like, it's been 700 and some odd days since we last saw Patapon 2 Remastered, because they actually showed it at PSX or something like 2 or 3 years ago, and then they never said anything about it again. And so he's been like, he tweets about it like every day, and come on, Patapon 2 Remastered. Well, it finally came out, and I'm like, okay, they finally did 2 Remaster. I got to see what this is about. It's like $15 for the first one, which came out like 2 or 3 years ago or something like that.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'll bite. And it is a lot of stinking fun. But yeah, like I said, it's not fun to listen to. Like my wife was on her iPad working on something, and the whole time it's like, pada, pon, pada, pon, pada. Because it's a rhythm game, essentially. It's a rhythm action game.
Okay.
So you control the little weird eyeball creature dudes by inputting different combinations on your controller. So I think like the square button is like pada, and the circle button is pon. I've only unlocked 2 drums. I think there's more drums. I think eventually, obviously, you get 4 at least.
Cool.
But when you do like pada, pon, or pon, pada, pon, so circle, circle, square, that instructs your characters to move forward. It's like a 2D side scroller type thing.
Oh, crazy.
So they move when you do pawn, and there's a beat, there's a rhythm happening on the screen, like the edges, the borders of the screen flash, and there's like a drum beat. So you have to do your beat to their beat.
Oh, wow.
So it's like pon, pada, pon, and then like you just this call and response kind of thing. Like you do your command, then they do it, and you do your command, and then when you want them to attack, it's square, like pada, 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 pawn, square, 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 circle, that type of thing. So it's a ton of fun because it's essentially like Guitar Hero Rock Band, but like, with the whole rhythm aspect of it, and like you're making this music, but it's, this call and response with these creatures, and you're like making them move and attack things and all this stuff, hunt or gather or whatever they're doing.
Right.
But yeah, my wife, when she didn't know what was going on, she's like, "What is this like absurd music?" And there's like,
Can you put your headphones on?
It's like this tribal drum beat, and like these little creatures, and they have like these cutesy little like pawn, pawn, pada, pawn, pada, pada, pawn, pawn. And she's just like, "You gotta be kidding me right now!" Like, so that game is really fun. I don't have much more to add because I didn't get to play very long, but I'm hoping to get back into it because it's originally a PSP game. PlayStation Portable.
Sounds about right.
Which I somehow missed because I had a PSP back in the day. I don't know how I missed out on this little gem, but it looks great in 4K. The cutscenes are not rendered in 4K. They did not remaster the cutscenes. They're still very blurry and very crappy. But then as soon as it gets into gameplay, it's like beautiful in 4K on my TV. So I'm like, okay, nice. I'm all about this. So go check that out. From what I've heard, you don't have to play the first one to understand what's going on in the second one. But I was like, might as well. I mean, if I like the first one, then I'm obviously going to get the second one. I'd rather play them in order than get the second one, like it, then have to go back and play the first one, kind of thing. So I'm liking it so far. So we'll see maybe in a year and a half when I finish this game, because that's about the rate I finish games, I'll be able to play Padawan 2 remastered. Maybe they'll have the third one remastered by then. Who knows?
There you go. Double whammy.
Or it'll be another 5 years before that one comes out.
It'll be on the PS5.
Cool. Let's get into the topic of the show here. So this one actually came from our guest host last week, Adrian Holmes.
Thank you,
He had pitched it, and we talked about maybe doing it last week, but then we went with our backlog discussion, which I didn't hear from any of you guys. What were your 3 games that you were keeping? Because that was our homework, was where everyone's starting fresh with their backlogs now. Caught everything except for 3 games. That's all you get.
Pick 3 games.
That's all you get to keep and take with you. So if you guys have any thoughts or ideas, send it to the Discord there, or like comment on social media.
I'm gonna go with Dishonored 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Days Gone. And hold it. Witcher 3.
Okay.
No. Cuphead. Yep.
Dang. I think mine. It's because I still haven't like solidified it either down to like 3 that I really want to do, but I think mine is close to yours. Like what your original list was. Mine would definitely be Days Gone. Just because. I don't know. I'm just so curious about the game. I've only heard negative things about it, but I just want to know, because some people love it though. Like some people are like, this is garbage. Other people are like, this is great. I was like, I got to know for myself. Yeah. And it's a PlayStation exclusive. I feel like I have to play it because I'm the PlayStation guy. Yeah. So Days Gone. And I was also with you on Witcher 3, especially since the show came out. Everyone raved about the game before. And then since the show's come out, everyone's raving about the show. And then that's inspired people to go back and play the game. And everyone's like, nope, the game is still amazing. So I'm like, oh man, and I own it. I have bought the Ultimate Edition. It was on sale one time, I don't know, a few months back for like $5 or something. I got all the DLC and everything. It was insane. So I need to go play that. And then my third one is Horizon Zero Dawn, which I told you guys all a few weeks ago that I started playing. And again, like I keep getting distracted. I started playing. I'm like, I'm going to finish this. And then JJ was like, hey, do you want Star Wars back? I'm like, yes, I'll take Star Wars. Because I've been wanting to play it since November. Yeah. And so now Horizon's back on mine is mostly, 2/3 of it is PlayStation exclusives, but I just feel like I need to play those because it's kind of my brand. It's kind of my thing. And they're great too. Like that's the thing. Like what I've played of Horizon Zero Dawn is amazing. Yeah. It was one of those things where other games started coming out and losing track, and that's the hardest thing.
That's how it is. Backlogs. That's how backlogs start.
Yeah.
I think
it's even harder with the podcast. I think I mentioned on the show a couple weeks ago, but I want to stay up to date with all the newest stuff that I can talk about on the show. But then it's like, oh shoot, like I get to talk about it and keep you guys all up to date, the listeners. But then for myself, I never get to finish anything. Like I never get the ending of any of these stories because every month I'm buying a new game and I just don't have enough time to like drop 30 hours in even a week to play a game.
Yeah,
like
I
get like 5 hours a week.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Anyway, so our topic this week though is from Adrian Holmes. What's your ideal next-gen console launch? How should, and I kind of rephrase this a little bit. So sorry, Adrian, if this isn't word for word. This is what I kind of extrapolated from it. What's your ideal next-gen console launch? How should PS5 or XSX, Xbox Series X, roll out their new announcements, taking in consideration marketing, lineup, etc.? I even want to kind of twist this a little bit because I was kind of thinking about this a little more later. And then you even mentioned it before the show. I don't know if I necessarily have an ideal one for myself, but how do you think, maybe let's rephrase this to, how do you think the next gen consoles are going to launch? Like, how do you think this next year is going to look for these consoles? Like, I don't know if you, like, and you don't have to do, like, you can choose just to talk about Xbox or PlayStation or whatever. Okay, sounds good.
So I think the Xbox Series X is going to come out. Okay. And it'll probably be around holidays as normal.
Okay.
Hype going into it will be, some of it's going to be at E3.
You say holidays is normal. They've already announced holidays, but do you think it'll be like a November launch, like normal, or do you think it could be a little earlier, a little later? I'm
thinking on, well, it's going to, when have they announced the launch date for the Halo Infinite?
It just said holiday 2020.
Okay. So I'm going to say October. I'm going to say October.
Okay.
Because past Halo games have come out in October.
That's what I was just going to say. When did past Halo games?
I think Halo 2 was an October launch. I think Halo 3 was an October launch. I don't remember about 4. I think 4.
That's not helpful.
But then I mean, if I were Xbox and I was trying to build hype.
Do you want a Cortana costume? It's a one-piece spandex.
I don't think I would look good in a Cortana.
So you can look like Cortana. Okay, well, that's on sale at Spencer's for $60.
Right on. I'm gonna get that link for a friend.
Oh yeah, November, September,
February.
Oh, that's Halo Wars. That doesn't count. Halo 3 ODST was September. All the mainline titles were September or November.
Not October.
Yeah,
okay.
Either September or November.
Okay. Well, I'm still.
Halo 5 was October.
There it is.
Which is the most recent one.
Yeah, that's probably why I thought all of them were. Yeah. Nope, it was September, most of them. But if I was Microsoft, I probably would obviously hype it up, launch a lot of big name reveals around E3, and there's probably only going to be like 5 launch titles with it. I mean, Xbox One launched with, all I can remember was Peggle and Rise.
Wow, that's quite a lineup.
I mean, I know there's more games than that, but those are just the ones that I can remember.
Yeah,
there's Peggle 2.
Do you think we will actually see the box at E3? Like, will they have it there for people to look at?
I think for Halo they will. I mean, and for the Xbox, I think they will. Whether or not it'll be playable, I don't know.
Right. I mean, I was even thinking, like, do they have like just a display case at their booth just so people can walk by and take a look at it?
Yeah, I would. So it'd build a little bit of, that anticipation going into the holiday season. I don't think they're gonna do anything like really. There's really at this point, there's really not a whole lot left. I think you really can do. I mean, unless they do like the world tour idea that we were talking about on the show last time with PlayStation.
Okay. Yeah.
Which that would build a lot of, anticipation for it, but
right.
But I don't know. I mean, I think they're gonna need to lean a lot on Halo to kind of really drive it. And I think that whatever the games that do come out for the Xbox are also, I know they've already announced this, but they're going to be backwards compatible with Xbox One, so they don't leave anybody behind.
Yeah, that's like the whole deal with the Xbox. Why they're just calling it Xbox now is because it's more of an ecosystem than just like a specific console. Like that's kind of their goal is like everything will play on everything. Smart. Yeah.
Because you own Windows, you might as well marry up PC and Xbox together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and it'd also be nice with really kind of create that cross-platform play.
Yeah, I know, 100%. And because even with like, What was I gonna say? I just totally lost my train of thought. I don't know. Good point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good stuff. I was totally gonna add on to something, but I think you got it. Boy, that bothers me. I don't know why my brain just totally farts out sometimes.
Yeah,
it drives me nuts. Because then for the next like 3 hours, I'll be like, "What was I gonna say? What was I gonna say?" And it almost makes it harder to remember when that's all you're focusing on.
Yeah.
But no, I think that sounds good. I guess. Yeah, I feel like. I mean, they've already revealed more than like PlayStation has so far, but I also feel like as hype as like that trailer was at the Game Awards, I'm also still like I feel like it's still not like it's still like we feel like we don't actually know like features of this thing. I want to know like more specific features.
Well, that's going to be dropped at E3.
You think that'll be an E3 thing?
Yeah, because I mean, they're the only ones in the show right now at E3 still.
Right. Yeah.
And like.
Yeah, PlayStation announced they're not going to be there again this year. So.
Yeah, you're going to have all that press right on you. It's a perfect time to announce all of it, get all of it out of the way. And then the next few months, all you're doing is hitting them with ads. Lots and lots of ads.
100%. Get your pre-orders in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of pre-order bonuses. Probably have like a Halo, BR, full replica.
Do you think they'll have like a special edition color scheme for Halo?
I don't know.
Or do you think they'll just drop with like the black or like the black one that they showed and maybe white? Yeah.
Maybe they might have like a little UNSC logo on it.
Yeah, and like a green, like tactical green or something like that, or like
cool.
The
Master Chief Edition comes with
some battle damage on it or something.
Maybe like a bundle that you can get. That could work. Watch day bundles.
Yeah. So for PlayStation, normally, so what they've done at least for PS4 was in February. They had a big launch event in New York City where they flew a bunch of people out and they're like, here's a PS4. Talked about all the specs, all this stuff. The thing with like so far what they've done with the PS5 is everything that they would have talked about or announced at that February event, they've already done through these weird Wired articles and interviews that they've done over the last year. Like they've done 2 Wired articles, Wired interviews, and then even at like CES, they showed off their logo. So, and it's February, and I think I remember we mentioned it was on the show or before the show, but like none of the people in the industry have gotten invites to this event. Like, I doubt there's an event happening in February if they haven't gotten
any event
and any like invitation or something. Like, I feel like that's kind of a big deal. Like, tickets aren't cheap. So to be like a week before, be like, hey, fly out to New York City. It's like, screw you, Sony. Like,
can't.
you buy our ticket. Maybe I'll try to. But so because of that, there's still a lot we don't know about the PlayStation, but there's also a lot we do know. But I think I keep going back and forth because I think that February and March is a good window, but I also think if they wait until late April or even late, I think the coolest thing, I think this would be really cool, super ballsy, like a week or two before E3, like a week, maybe just barely a week before E3, if they did something big. Since they're not going to be at E3, they'd have all the eyes on them, do whether it's a state of play or a straight up, their own press conference. Maybe it's even in LA. Maybe it's just a couple days before E3, so that way people just show up to E3 early or something and can go to this thing. I think they should, that would be super crazy for them to do, to really get people's attention but it'll all be on them because they're not going to be at E3. If they were going to be at E3, obviously, messages get muddled. Everyone's talking about their own thing, and it's easy to be like, not swept under the rug, but it's kind of like, there's just so much happening. There's this news overload during that time. So I think if they can either come in or like right before, or even,
I think a lot of people are going to be dropping. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say even like right after or something, although like after doesn't seem great either, because then it kind of seems like, hey, don't forget about us kind of thing. I think that'd be really cool. We'll see. And I think at that point we'll get the pricing. We'll get an official date. We'll hopefully see the box. I want to see what this thing looks like. And then like a complete final draft list of what these features are. Because at this point, there's kind of like a few main things. Like we know it's going to have a solid state. in an early interview, they mentioned it's going to be backwards compatible, but in the second interview they didn't talk about that, if I remember right. So some people are kind of weird, like feeling weird about that. Like, why?
Backwards compatible because of PlayStation Now.
And that's what's kind of scaring people. Like, oh, you talk about backwards compatibility in this first interview, and then the second one, you didn't say, like, what's the deal with that? Like, is that gone now? What's going on? It's supposed to have ray tracing. It's supposed to have, I don't know, there's like 4 or 5 like main features, but nothing like, I don't know, nothing set in stone. So I would love to get like a set in stone features list or something around that time. But I don't know. I think sooner would be better for them. The longer they wait, the less time they have to market and shoot those ads out. Because even now, Xbox One X, I still see banner ads and stuff for the One X just because of that trailer they put out at Game Awards. Like people, it's even if it's just a little image, like people are seeing it and seeing the logo. As far as like next gen game announcements, I mean, I think the usual are going to be there. And I think what would be cooler too is if PlayStation announced all the PS5 before E3. I think at E3, then you have Ubisoft, Bethesda, EA, Square, like all the big ones be like, this game's coming to PS5, this game's coming to PS5. Because if PlayStation doesn't talk about the console before then, I don't think they can really do that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Sony would let them do that.
They might, and it's not tell them the release dates.
Maybe. That just, I don't know, it just seems...
It wouldn't tip their hand a whole lot if they just knew what game was coming to it is all.
I just feel like it'd be like, almost like stealing Sony's thunder, though. If Sony hadn't even officially announced the console yet, in a sense, like officially announced all this, like that's even coming out this holiday. That's another thing. We don't even know if it's coming out this holiday. We assume it is.
Yeah.
They haven't even officially said that. So with that, it would seem weird if all these game companies start kind of like, I feel like it would take some of their...
It would be a great way for PlayStation to kind of be at E3 without having to be at E3.
Which is why I think if they announce PS5 beforehand and then they have all these games talking about PS5, that'd be golden, because they get all the press before E3, and then the whole time people are at E3, they're still hearing about all these PS5 games that are coming out. And then I think most likely it'll be a November launch, because that's what it's been for the last few generations. But I also think it'd be really cool to get it sooner. Yeah. And I almost feel like
September, August.
I know. I've been leaning towards
February. Yeah. It just drops. It shadow drops.
It just comes out tomorrow. Oh my gosh. No, I think it could. I think September, October would be really cool.
Yeah.
If it came out that point. I don't think they will. But, and I don't know why. I don't have any reasoning why. But just getting out like a little sooner, a little earlier. And I guess for me, the biggest thing was like when they delayed Cyberpunk 2077 to September. I'm like, there's also a news article that said no next gen plans are in the works for Cyberpunk. So they're not going to be making a PS5 version. But I would bet a lot of money that there's going to be a PS5 kind of, I don't know, patch at least, or even if there's not a patch, it'll definitely run better on PS5.
Yeah,
like such a huge game. I'm
that
sure
would make it backwards compatible.
Similar to what's that?
That would make it a backwards compatible game at that point.
Which, I mean, PS5 is supposed to be backwards compatible,
but we don't know that for sure.
No, yeah, we don't know that for sure. But if it is like it says it's going to be, like they've said previously, then I think at that point, like it's like, because right now I'm having trouble with Jedi Fallen Order, to be able to pop in Jedi Fallen Order to PS5, or in this case like Cyberpunk 2077, and it's just like smooth sailing because you have an SSD in there and all like the bigger graphics card. Even if it doesn't necessarily look better, if it just has a consistent 60 frames per second, I'm like, oh man, that would be so incredible, and like native 4K, not like whatever the PS4 Pro does, checkerboarding, whatever. Like it's not real 4K like the One X is.
Yeah, that's right. No, you forget it. Xbox One X
still looks dang pretty on my 4K TV. I'll tell you that.
I tried to give it a look if it was actually real. Just kidding.
You win some, you lose some, But yeah, so that's my thoughts on Sony. I think they have a chance to do some cool stuff, but we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I think xCloud's also gonna, or xCloud.
xCloud, yeah, it's
going to drop at the same time as the X Series X.
That would be awesome.
And this way, you can be like, we are one full ecosystem. We're on PC. Yeah. We're on your TV. We're on your phone.
I would love that because then I could buy my PS5 and then pay a subscription fee for xCloud and have both consoles. Because there's no way I'm buying both consoles, but I would love
have the full effect of the real Xbox.
It would be just fine. I'll just play it on my computer, just like I do now with Game Pass.
Do what you gotta do.
Do what I gotta do. It's cheaper that way. $5 a month is better than whatever that Series X is gonna cost. How much do you think it'll be?
I'm gonna say 2 tiers.
Like an X and an S, essentially.
Yeah. No, 1 tier, and they're gonna be. I'm gonna say $399 because I think $499 is gonna be pushing it.
Really, for the X, the Series X, you think is gonna be $399?
I think if they can bring it in at $399,
there's no way
people would go ape
and just pick it all up. There's no way. I was with you when you had said the 2 tiers. I think there'll be 2 tiers. I think there's already been leaks and kind of confirmed rumors in a sense about there being 2 different SKUs being in development.
If there's 2, then you gotta have your $499 and you have your you're gonna have your $399 and your $499.
I could see the S being $399. There's no way with the specs that Series X has, like what they're talking, it's supposed to be able to do. There's no way it's under $500.
They were able to do $500 for the Xbox One X. So maybe. Oh no, they did $400 for the X because I have an X.
I think when it first launched, it was $5 though. I think it was $5. I think it was $499.
Maybe it was still $5. Oh, I don't remember. I'm terrible.
It's been on sale. I saw it was on sale. It was down to like $3 something. I'm like, oh man.
Should have done it.
Do I buy?
You should have traded in your PlayStation for it.
No, never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. No, but yeah, I don't think there's any way the X is below $500. I don't think there's any way. There's so much power in that. There's no way.
We'll find out.
I think the PS5. Cool. I could see the PS5 coming in at
$799.
Yeah, kind of the PS3 hubris comes back, and they're just like, "Screw you guys, we're coming in at $800. Bring it on." People will eat it up. No, I think it'll be around that. It depends on. I think it depends on who announces their price first. If Xbox announces first, I could see Sony being all cheeky and be like, "We're $450."
Like, maybe you can only do what you can do,
or something like that. I could, or even Xbox, I could see them being like, because they've done that stuff in the past. I mean, when the PS1 came out, what was it? It was the Sega, was it the Genesis or Dreamcast or something at that point? Maybe Dreamcast. There's something like earlier at the conference, I think it was like one of the earlier E3s or something. Maybe it wasn't even E3. Basically, at this press conference, Sega came out and said, our console is this much, and it was like some crazy price. And Sony literally, all they did is, and then they did a whole press conference, PlayStation came out, they just said the number, they said the price, and they like walked off stage. That was the end of the press conference. And it was like, I wish I knew the exact story, like the prices and everything. It was genius. It was so good. But like, and people just went nuts because it was like drastically cheaper, like hundreds of dollars cheaper than like what the Sega was going to be. And people are like losing their minds. So like that's stuff that's in gaming history that they do. Like people get cheeky once in a while. That's what, stuff like
that was in, I think they talked about that in Console Wars.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, because that's what it was. It was like whole like Sony fighting with Sega a little bit, but yeah. So I think depending on who announces their price first, I could see either one of them kind of being like, oh okay, well let's knock $50 off, just hey, check us out. We're even more powerful and $50 cheaper. Check us out.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Cool.
Good show.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to us again this week. We really appreciate it. Appreciate all your downloads on podcast services. We appreciate all the views on YouTube. Remember, you can leave reviews over on your podcast service, depending on what you use, I guess. A lot of times there's either a like or a subscribe or rate and review star system. Also on YouTube, if you can like the video, give the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff helps us. Check us out over at patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can get this episode early. You can get audio ad-free versions like the night we record. If not the night of, then the next morning. It'll be available to you. So go check that out. Just $1 a month. You can get us early, and then there's even cooler stuff as you go up from there. supergamerboys.com/store. If you want to get our cool mug I talk about every week, cool stickers, I think I'm actually going to pull the trigger on buying a t-shirt. I talk about it all the time, but I want to get a t-shirt to wear on the show because
Do it.
I should actually rep our merch, right?
Absolutely.
Gotta look cool too. You can find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys, facebook.com/supergamerboys. I'm on Twitter at gmorlang. Zech is over on Twitter at
Zech Keenan. ZechKeenan.
Go check him out. And thank you.
Rantings and all my hate for LaCroix.
I know. I felt personally attacked when you started posting those because I'm a huge fan of LaCroix and the sparkling waters. You know, that's all I drink. We actually buy the big flats from Costco. My wife just brought one home today, and I'm a happy man because we ran out a couple days ago, and I thought I was going to die without it.
You could just drink regular water. Tastes almost the same.
It does not. See, I don't even care so much about the flavor. I just like the fizziness. For me, it's like a replacement for soda.
Seltzer water.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we get the LaCroix with the flavoring or whatever.
Seltzer water's cheaper because it's carbonated water.
We get the Kirkland brand, so it's pretty cheap.
You get Kirkland LaCroix?
It's not even like LaCroix. It's actually like the Kirkland
so
sparkling
you get the
water.
fake LaCroix. You don't even get like real LaCroix. So what you're getting is actually probably better than actual LaCroix.
It's pretty dang good. It's really cheap.
See, I don't like LaCroix specifically.
Okay. okay. Then I feel a little better about what you're whatever you're doing over there. But thank you so much to Star Andrews for our logo. You can check her out on Instagram at Ground Floor Graphics or Facebook.com/Ground Floor Graphics. Alrighty. Well, thanks for coming back, being with us.
It's been real.
Yeah, it's been fun. If you guys forgot already, JJ is coming back next week. I
will not be here.
The grand reveal. Yeah, unfortunately, Zech will be going. Bummer for me, you know. I'd really liked having a competent show host, but I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, JJ. I don't mean it entirely, but yeah, thank you so much for subbing in for JJ. It's been awesome, and who knows? Maybe we will see Zech very, very soon in the future.
Maybe. You never know. The future
that's my hope and dream. My hope and dream is that maybe JJ trips and falls and, you know, dies for real. No, just kidding.
And wins like $1 million lawsuit and decides, screw you, Garrett, I'm out of here.
Yeah, it doesn't die. Yeah, he wins a lawsuit, becomes a millionaire. He's like, see ya, I'm out. And then I'm left here just to podcast all by my lonesome. Have Zech in. At least I have company.
Yep.
Cool.
It's been fun.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Thank you guys so much for listening. And we'll catch you all on the flippity flop.